Focus on Sports, the Fresno State football team loses the final game at UCLA at the Rose Bowl.
Plus, women's volleyball season comes to an end. Focus on Sports starts now.
Welcome to Focus on Sports. I'm Bianca Gonzalez.
And I'm Brian Welch. We are back with our weekly sportscast, and we hope you had a great Thanksgiving break.
A lot has happened over the last week, so let's catch you guys up. The Fresno State women's volleyball team closed their season in Las Vegas at the Mountain West tournament with a 3-1 loss to San Diego State. The Dogs started out strong, but in the first set fell behind the Aztecs 25-18. In the second set, Addison Haluska and Casey Purry helped get the scoring started for the Bulldogs, which led to a 25-16 win. In the last two sets, the Dogs lost 25-18 in the third, then 25-17 in the fourth. However, that doesn't take away from the excellent season the Bulldogs have had with the overall record of 16 wins and 14 losses and 12 wins and 7 losses for conference.
The equestrian team wrapped up their fall opener of a win against Oklahoma State before the break, putting them at number 6 for the NCEA. The Dogs are on a hiatus, but they'll be back on January 23rd against Delaware State in the Doghouse at the Student Horse Center. The Fresno State football team was on the road taking on UCLA this Saturday at the Rose Bowl. UCLA struck first with this field goal as the Dogs' offense struggled to move the ball down the field as Clay Lawrence had to punt the ball 7 times on the afternoon. Dogs trailing 6-0, but not for long as Mikey King connects with Rylan Sharp. After a field goal, the Bulldogs went into halftime with a 13-6 lead. The Bruins struck back, but the Dogs answered back with this fiery play from Keenan James to close out the third. The flashy plays were not enough as the Bruins play keep away and defeat the Bulldogs 20-13. The Dogs' 4-game winning streak against the Bruins comes to an end.
The Fresno State men's basketball team was in Palm Desert this past week for the 2024 Acrisure Series. In the game against Washington State on Tuesday, point guard Zayon Collins returned from an ankle injury with a game high of 27 points, but it wasn't enough. The Dogs struggled in the second half, falling behind 84-73 to the Cougars. The following night, the Bulldogs went into double overtime against Cal Baptist. Forward Elijah Price had a career night, scoring 16 points while grabbing 15 rebounds and 3 steals. He also had a block. Guard Ahmad Aguilar scored 25 points with 8 rebounds. Despite their efforts, the Bulldogs lost 86-81 to move to 3-4 on the season. The Bulldogs host San Diego State this Wednesday at the Save Mart Center. Tip-off is set for 7:30 p.m.
Fresno State women's basketball team improved to 6-3 on the season yesterday with a 75-66 win over UT Martin. Junior forward Mia Jacobs led the way for her 6th double-double of the season, dropping 31 points and grabbing 14 rebounds. She also had a season high of 5 steals. Jacobs and the Dogs host UC Merced at the Save Mart Center this Thursday. Tip-off is at 6 p.m.
Fresno State football finished its regular season at 6-6 under interim head coach Tim Skipper. Al Scott is with Jackson Moore of 24/7 Sports to discuss the state of team and future coach Skipper with the Bulldogs.
Thank you, Bianca, and welcome, Jackson. So Fresno State 6-6 on the year. They got the bowl game coming up. A couple weeks ago, they posted the job opening for the head coaching position. Obviously, with the transfer portal opening up in these next few days, a lot is in lingo. What is the future for Tim Skipper, if there is one, at Fresno State?
Yeah, that's what we're waiting on. The Bulldogs could either continue to keep him as the long-term coach or they can go in a different direction. It seems like they're still maybe weighing those options right now. We haven't heard anything from the university yet, and it does sound like both options are in play. So Coach Skipper, it looked bleak at 5-5, then it looked a little more promising when they beat Colorado State, and then not so great against UCLA, and now you see what other candidates might be out there as well. But I think we're going to hear sometime this week.
Several players, including Phoenix Jackson, Gabriel Lightfoot, key players in the defense, and you've got players on offense like Cameron Beecham, have announced their decision to transfer away from Fresno State. Do you think that might be affected by the head coaching sort of lingo situation?
It could be. I think it is. I'm sure if you're a football player on this team, you're a little restless right now. I think there's also some guys who, in this current NIL world, they might be a little more valuable than what they were this past year, and they're going to look at the portal regardless of the coaching situation. But it's tough because the Bulldogs graduate a lot of players on defense, and now you lose a couple more. You hope that they can kind of stabilize that before it gets too far out of reach.
Running back Bryson Donaldson has showed a lot in his last 2 games. Obviously didn't get a lot of playing time the first 10 weeks, had over 180 yards rushing the last 2 games. He had 9 catches in the last game against UCLA. What did you like from him, and what might we see from him going forward?
Yeah, I was really excited to see both the volume and kind of the situation of the opportunities he got. It just seemed like he didn't get many carries before, and a lot of times it felt like he got the ball and there was a defender right on him by the time he touched it. So it was just nice to see him get enough opportunity to kind of breathe and show what he can do, because we saw that from him as a high schooler, we saw it from him in practice, and then it finally showed up in the game. So you feel like you've got a real bright future with him at running back long term.
What's one thing you're looking forward to seeing the Bulldogs in their bowl game?
Well, it's a little bit of who's still there. It's a big one. If the Bulldogs move forward with the current trajectory with Coach Skipper, it'll be nice to see how that kind of bridges in the next season. If they go in a different direction, it's going to be how many players are suited up, and what the team looks like may not have too much of an indication of what 2025 looks like. So real curious to see how this plays out.
Well, thank you again for joining us today, Jackson. Coming up on your Focus on Sports, we check in on some former Bulldogs in the NFL. Plus, we take a look at the 4 teams in California playing in the NBA.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head.
Up in my head.
I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart to stay.
I got that Bulldog spirit down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit down in my toes. Hey, down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit
deep in my heart.
deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog.
Hey, welcome back. Week 13 of the NFL season is over tonight, but it's been a busy weekend for some former Dogs. On Thanksgiving Day, the Cowboys took on the Giants, and Deron Bland, wearing number 26, had 9 total tackles in their 27-20 victory against the Giants. The same night, former Dog Evan Williams had 7 combined tackles in the 30-17 victory against the Dolphins. On Sunday, Devontae Adams of the Jets, wearing number 17 on the near side of your screen, had 5 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown in the loss to the Seahawks. In the game between the Rams and the Saints, Derek Carr had 184 yards and a touchdown, as Jordan Mims was out for the game and Ronnie Rivers did not see the field. Michael Walker of the Commanders did not play as well yesterday. And Bianca, what has stood out to you about the NFL? But it's been good to see the former Dogs out there in the NFL.
It has, but right now, what is going on with the 49ers? This is not the team we saw last season. And, we see this all the time at sports. Sometimes, you make it to the Super Bowl, you're not able to perform the same the next season. They've also been dealing with some injuries, but they got a game coming up this week against the Bears, and if they can pull it through, I think they have a chance of making the playoffs, but right now, things aren't looking too good.
But also, it's been the consistency, especially you looked at that game against the Seahawks a couple weeks back, and also yesterday in the Snow Globe in Buffalo. The injuries have haunted the 49ers so far this season, but it's how you respond at the end of the season to propel yourself to 2025.
I agree. My question for you is, do you think they can pull through?
Well, you have a good coach. You have a good coach in Coach Shanahan. You could find ways to get the victory. And plus, hey, he's an offensive genius. You let him cook, and he'll probably make a really good steak for everybody in San Francisco.
All right. Now let's check in with a familiar face and where the California teams stand in the rankings. Ex-Bulldog Paul George, right here, number 8, averaging 14.4 points per game for the 76ers. They're trying to find a rhythm, but are second to last in the Eastern Conference with a record of 4-14. Golden State still has the best record in California, sitting at 12-7 after starting 12-3. They lost the last 4. The Lakers are not far behind. They currently boast a 12-18 record and are 6th seed in the West. The Clippers have bounced back. They are 7-3 over the last 10 and sitting in the 7th seed. They beat the Nuggets 122-126 in their last contest. Sacramento is still struggling to figure things out. Over the last 10 games, they have had 3-7. They are currently sit in the 12th seed. Brian, I want to know, what has been interesting to you so far about the NBA?
You know what, especially you look at how the Lakers have played, especially with that loose approach and also being confident in their shots, especially for LeBron James, and also having Anthony Davis healthy for a big time this season, able to have him major points. I don't have the statistic on me right now, but he has been able to score lights out for the Lakers. If they can keep doing that, they're going to be doing some pretty good things in 2025.
I absolutely agree, but personally, I think right now the light needs to be shed on the Warriors. Again, they've had the best record. Steph Curry always shooting the ball well.
Well, I mean, also Steph Curry being able to be confident in himself, especially with Klay Thompson leaving to the Mavericks. You know what? There has to be a new sheriff in town, and you know what? Steph Curry's looked really strong. He's looked really strong offensively.
I agree, and you know what? It was sad to see Klay Thompson go, but it is also great to see Steph Curry do what he does best.
That's right.
Former Bulldog Aaron Judge has won the American League MVP and the World Series champ Shohei Ohtani has brought it home, winning the National League MVP.
However, these are not the only things happening this offseason. Blake Snell has signed with the Dodgers for the next 5 years for $182 million, and we found out from his Instagram. There are many other free agents on the market right now, and Bianca, who are some free agents to keep an eye on?
Brian, I got to go with Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers, they don't just need to re-sign him. They need to pay the man. He just has an amazing leadership mentality that the team needs. They feed off of the leadership from Miguel Rojas, Mookie Betts, and he has just been a great addition on top of just his consistency. He has come in clutch so many times. And even if he doesn't sign with the Dodgers, which the Dodgers need him, he is going to help any team. Who's a good free agent that you're keeping close eye on?
Well, I don't want to burst your Dodger bubble right now, but Juan Soto looks really good. I know everyone talks about the Dodgers building a super team, but if you get Juan Soto a chance to play in Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine and great hitting conditions, Juan Soto would probably be a good pick for the Dodgers. I mean, that's probably, for me, a good free agent for me to watch out for. He might not go to the Dodgers. He might even go back to San Diego. Who knows?
I disagree. Personally, yes, he is going to help no matter what team he goes for. However, the Dodgers just don't need him. They won the World Series off of 3 starters. Plus, they have just a solid lineup. I feel like he's going to be beneficial to, like you said, either the Padres or who knows, maybe we can see him with the Giants. They have been not so good the last couple of years, and they definitely need a guy with him who just has such great consistency.
We shall see. Many sports at Fresno State are back in action. Let's take a look. On Wednesday night, the men's basketball team is taking on nationally ranked San Diego State at the Save Mart Center. Tip-off is at 7:30. On Thursday, the track and field team is in action in Reno, taking part in the Silver State Invite. They are there until Saturday. Women's basketball team is taking on UC Merced at the Save Mart Center on Thursday. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. And the swim and dive team is taking part in the Riverside Diving Event, and they will be there till Saturday. And finally, on Saturday, the men's basketball team is taking on Santa Clara on the road in the Silicon Valley.
All right, now let's pick our top dog of the week. Brian, who's your top dog?
You know what? A very impressive showing for the Bulldogs on the island, on the Wahoo, was Mia Jacobs. You know what? 30 points. Very, very impressive showing there. Mia Jacobs is probably one of the best players in the Mountain West Conference, and she keeps showing it again and again. What about you?
I'm going with Danae Powell. She has just had such an amazing last couple games. She's been showing great consistency, and I really look forward to seeing her keep this momentum going through the rest of the season. How about you, Al?
Well, you mentioned Mia Jacobs. I interviewed her last week. She's been cooking on and off the court. She bakes. She makes her own coffee. She's making career highs in points and rebounds seemingly every game. 6 double-doubles. Actually, my top dog of the week is freshman running back Bryson Donaldson. 140 yards rushing last week. He had another 40 this week in addition to 9 catches and over 40 yards on the air. He's doing it with his hands. He's doing it on the ground. He's doing it all. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the bowl game in a few weeks and next year as well. He's got 3 more years.
That's right.
That's
3
right.
more years, 3 more bright years. But getting back to Mia Jacobs, what do you think she's baking right now? Seriously, you think she's making muffins?
She mentioned that she likes to make bread.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I'm curious to try her coffee. Did she tell you what she does to her with her coffee?
She didn't. I didn't ask that, but she said that it's a work in process, but that she likes to cook more for herself, but she also likes to bake for her teammates as well. So, you know, she's an interesting person. Looking forward to hearing more from her.
That's right.
And that's our show today. This is our final sportscast of the semester, but do not worry, we will still have more sports on Wednesday with this guy right next to me with our regular scheduled newscast.
We'd like to say thank you for tuning in to our sports show every Monday this semester.